Protein has quietly become the most hyped nutrient in the entire fitness world. Everywhere you look, it's protein powders, protein bars, high-protein ice cream, even protein water. Grocery shelves and social media feeds are flooded with the same message over and over again. Protein builds muscle. More protein means more gains. And if you're not eating enough protein, then all those workouts you're doing are basically a waste of time. Over time, that message has stuck because muscle growth already feels confusing and overwhelming. People want a simple rule to follow, something easy to measure and control. And protein fits that role perfectly. Just eat more of it and you'll grow. At least, that's what we're led to believe. But here's where the problem starts. Simple answers are rarely complete answers, especially when it comes to how the human body actually works. Yes, protein is important. No serious person is saying protein doesn't matter. But the way most people think about protein today is oversimplified to the point that it's misleading. Muscle growth isn't controlled by a single nutrient, and it doesn't respond linearly forever. The idea that you can just keep adding more protein and automatically get more muscle ignores how biology, training, calories, and recovery actually interact. And once you understand that, you start to realize that protein isn't the magic solution people think it is, and focusing on it alone may be holding your progress back. One of the most common rules you hear in fitness is that you should eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It sounds very precise, very scientific, and that's exactly why so many people follow it without questioning it. But when scientists actually look at where this number came from, it turns out it was never meant for the average person going to the gym a few times a week. This recommendation didn't come from long-term studies on everyday lifters trying to build muscle sustainably. Instead, a lot of it came from short-term research, studies done on elite athletes, or experiments that measured something called muscle protein synthesis. And this is where things get confusing. Muscle protein synthesis is a temporary process. It tells us how much muscle-building activity is happening in the body over a short period of time, sometimes just a few hours after eating protein. But that's not the same thing as actual muscle growth over weeks or months. What long-term studies show? When researchers actually study muscle growth over weeks and months, something interesting happens. Once people reach a moderate protein intake, increasing protein further leads to very small gains or no additional gains at all. In many studies, people eating high protein and people eating moderate protein gain almost the same amount of muscle, which tells us something critical. Protein has a ceiling effect. Once your body has enough, adding more doesn't keep pushing muscle growth higher. A lot of people think the body stores extra protein the same way it stores fat or carbs, almost like a savings account you can use later for muscle. But that's not how it works. You can't stockpile protein today and turn it into muscle tomorrow. The body doesn't have a dedicated storage system for protein. When you eat more protein than your body actually needs, several things can happen. Some of it gets burned for energy, some gets converted into other compounds, and some is simply broken down and excreted. But what it doesn't automatically do is turn into muscle. Muscle growth depends on a specific signal, and that signal doesn't come from food. It comes from training. Progressive resistance training tells your body it needs to adapt and build muscle. Protein's job is to support that process, not drive it. Without that training signal, protein is just food, not muscle. Muscle growth doesn't happen because of one magic nutrient. It happens when a few key things come together at the same time. First, there has to be mechanical tension from lifting weights, challenging your muscles with progressive resistance so your body has a reason to adapt. Second, you need enough total calories. Building muscle requires energy, and if your body doesn't have enough fuel, growth simply won't happen. Third, you need enough protein to repair and rebuild the muscle tissue that gets broken down during training. But it's important to understand the role protein actually plays here. Protein supports muscle growth, it doesn't drive it. The main driver is the training stimulus combined with sufficient energy. That's why someone who trains hard, eats enough calories, and gets a moderate amount of protein will often outgrow someone who's constantly drinking protein shakes, eating very high protein, but training poorly and undereating. Fundamentals always win. This part surprises a lot of people. Studies have actually compared adding extra calories from protein versus adding the same amount of calories from carbs, and the results are surprising. Muscle growth is often very similar between the two groups. Why is that? It's because energy availability matters more than protein alone. Your body needs fuel to build new tissue, and without enough calories, growth simply won't happen. Even if you're eating a ton of protein, if your overall energy intake is too low, your muscles won't grow. Protein supports muscle growth, but calories are what actually give your body the resources to build. So why does everyone feel like protein is the missing piece? It's simple. It's easier to drink a shake, buy a supplement, or just change one number in your diet than it is to actually train harder, track your progress, eat enough calories, and improve your sleep and recovery. Protein became the easy scapegoat, a simple fix for a problem that actually comes down to consistent training and overall nutrition. For most people trying to build muscle, research consistently shows that around 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight is enough to get almost all the benefits. Eating more than that, the returns start to diminish quickly. More protein isn't harmful, but it's not magical either. Hitting a reasonable target and focusing on training and calories will get you much further than chasing extra protein. So here's the smart approach. Hit a reasonable protein target, focus on progressive overload, eat enough total calories, sleep like it matters, because it does, stop chasing extreme protein numbers, and start fixing the fundamentals. If this video changed how you think about protein, hit like, subscribe for science-based fitness content, and comment below, how much protein are you eating per day right now? I'll see you in the next one.